Hello and welcome to this very special edition of Leap of Faith on ET Now. Now, this is Chetan Bhagat, and if you're wondering what I'm doing here, well, I'm here to introduce you today to a very special guest and a dear friend of mine as well. But before I do that, I also want to let you know that this show is special because we have business school students here for the first time. And the person I'm going to introduce to you is someone special because he's a self-made man who started from a family metal trading business and now runs one of the biggest natural resource groups in the world. To give you an idea, the group market cap is around $35 billion, and that's 200,000 crores. Surely there is a lot we can learn from this man, and that is why I want you to put your hands together for Mr. Anil Agarwal, Chairman of Vedanta Resources PLC, a London listed company that celebrated 10 years on the London Stock Exchange.
Anil Agarwal took responsibility of his father's business of manufacturing aluminum conductors in 1972 after completing high school in Patna. In 1976, he established Vedanta Resources, which collected scrap from cable companies in other states and sold it in Mumbai. From then, there has been no looking back. He has positioned India on the global mining and metals map.
Good to see you again. Good to see you again, and in this avatar, because many don't know this, but before I became a writer, I was a banker, and I used to write research, credit research. And when your Vedanta Resources bonds came out, I published a report on Vedanta Resources. In some ways, that was my first published work, in a way. So I'm connected to you since then, and then I met you in a social setting, and then it's just such a joy to be here with you and with all the students here. Are you guys excited? Yes. Okay. So surely, sir, we want to know everything about you. How are you feeling? What made you agree to come on our show?
I thought if it helped the youngster, sometime I see this young girl walking on the rope, and I see how she can do it, and I believe that everybody can do it. It's all about practice. It's not that only I can do it.
It is definitely not just for the young people here, but whoever is watching all over the country. I think everybody wants to know how a boy from Patna who can make a 200,000 crore company. Would you guys be keen to know that? Yes. Yeah, because even if they do 1% of that, that's going to be quite okay. Right? Okay, so let's begin with how you entered this metal business. In 1976, you came from Patna to Mumbai, right? So Patna to Mumbai, normally people come to become a hero or something. So what made you shift?
I've never seen any big city in my life. I was 19 years old, very excited, used to work with my father. I didn't do further study, and always keep looking how the Bombay look like, and I got that opportunity. Somebody came and he says, why don't you come to Bombay? And when I came to Bombay, did little business, and I says, every day prayed that I don't want to go back from here.
We have a little sound bite for you from Mr. Rasik Lal Mafatlal Shah.
अनिल बाबू यहाँ आए तो बोले कि रसिक भाई मेरे को कोई बैठने की जगह दो, तो मैंने बोला कि हमारी ऑफिस ऊपर है, खाली है, इसमें आप बैठिए और टेलीफोन लगवा देता हूँ, टेबल लगवा देता हूँ, वहाँ बैठिए काम काज शुरू करिए. हमारा बिजनेस में आज ट्रस्ट का सबसे पहला सवाल रहता है और आदमी की जुबान के ऊपर धंधा होता है पहले से भी. और अनिल बाबू का तो मेरे ऊपर इतना ट्रस्ट था, आज भी है और पहले भी था.
Okay, that's nice. People still remember those days. And there was one Mr. Narendra Desai then from Apar Group, and apparently he had an influence on you. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
The first thing happened that I went from Bombay to Kalyan and Vithalwadi, and I have never seen that big of a factory in my life. And I asked them, this factory belongs to whom? I never seen, and they say it belongs to Mr. Desai. And this was the aluminum business, and I used to do some trading with that company. And only thing I thought that I must know who is the owner of this this company. That's how After 1 or 2 years, somebody introduced me Narendra Desai, who was the owner. He was the one who was doing the aluminum business, and I got a little bit associated with him.
So I think the difference between you and others is when we see something magnificent like a big factory or a big, we just say, yeah, it's a big factory or a big Taj Mahal or whatever. But when you see it, you feel like, oh, I also want to make one of these. So I think that's a different way of thinking. When you see Mumbai, you're like, okay, I want to be here. When you see a big factory, you're like, maybe one day I want. You entered the copper business, you know, set up Sterlite Industries in Bombay. Now, how does this setting up a Sterlite Industries, copper, how did this come about?
Very interesting, very interesting. You know, I was doing this trading, and I came to know that one of the company called Shamsher Sterling, set up by the Rana Shamsher Jang Bahadur of Nepal, has gone under liquidation. And I used to know a little bit of cable business, and it was under liquidation, and it was like my dream to have that company, and I really work with that company, and it was with the syndicate bank, and I had no money, and I was putting the bid, and I don't know what will happen, but I was 100% sure I'm going to get this company, and I'm going to get this company. I put in a bid. I went to the Rasik Bhai, who was helping me as my partner. He has given me some money. My father has given me some money, and I went to this syndicate bank, live in Manipal for almost 1.5 months, just to arrange the first my 25 lakhs check. I was in the Fort office of Dinkar Pai, who was the manager. You will not believe, every day morning, I'll get up from my home, go to Dinkar Pai's home, pick up his children, put them into the school, come back to my office. I'll do everything possible to make sure I must get my loan. So I got that loan, and that's how I started the Sterlite Industries, which was making cable. And during that 76 to 86, that is the lesson I learned. You know, I'll shut down 9 business.
So you actually started 9 businesses and they failed?
Yes.
So when you're failing 9 times, didn't you feel like, okay, maybe I should just take up a job or something, or maybe business is not for me?
It's always been a stepping stone. Datta Samant Union, I had 70, 80 people, and he was bang upon to close my shop and factory. I'll go every day morning to his home, and he says, I deal with a big company, how can I deal with a small company? I said, either you leave it or let me run it. Instead of fighting with him, let's compromise with him. And when finally when I entered into the business of making jellyfill cable, which the government opened up the license in 86, and that time I started jellyfill cable. I went to America and got this second-hand equipment, and I was very keen to have that. Bought the equipment, did my first public issue of 2.5 crore. You have no idea that listing of 2.5 crore of public issue. I was the happiest man that day in my life.
Okay, well, just a memory of those. Let's have a soundbite from Tarun Jain.
I joined in 1984 when I was just 24. Soon things started falling apart, and I started wondering what I got myself into at the early stage of my career. But soon I realized here was a man with tremendous ability to get out of seemingly impossible situation. With his determination, positive thinking, and ability to keep teams motivated.
You also then took a stake in Balco. That's a state-owned aluminium company. I mean, how did that happen?
I find that cable has a raw material, copper and aluminum. And then I set up a copper smelter in Tuticorin in Tamil Nadu. It cost 1,000 crore. And I had the determination to set up that plant because my existing jellyfill cable was doing well. And I wanted to move forward. And I set up this plant with 1,000 crore, which I did the public issue. While this was happening, I moved to London. And I moved to London, and I had a desire to list my company in London. And I was getting really frustrated. Things was not happening in India. Things was not going anywhere. and I find the Narasimha Rao government came. And I can tell you, we all are product of Narasimha Rao government. You know, he demolished all the department. He started listening how the growth will take place, make things very, very simple. In this process, I could set up the copper smelter. I could buy the another Madras aluminum. It was licensing was abolished, and we could set up this company.
Speaking, you spoke a lot of the government, so we have a soundbite from the former cabinet secretary Naresh Chandra.
Every asset that he has acquired, either established himself on the ground or acquired by way of purchase from public sector or from a private company, he's added great value. We have noticed, and I can say as a board member, that the productivity goes up, the number of people employed goes up, and the profits go up.
Okay, and then in 2007, you moved to iron ore, Sesa, Goa. There was an iron ore. How did that happen, and how did that opportunity came about?
See, again is an opportunity. I always believe, started with the cable. Cable raw material was the copper and aluminum. So set up the copper smelter, bought Balco. Then I realized that I'm become a mining company. I understand. So there is opportunity. Hindustan Zinc is amazing story. When I bought the Hindustan Zinc, they told me the total reserve of this company is only 5 years, and they were producing only 1.5 lakh ton. You know, it was a difficult company. When we get in, I says, let's look at what more we can do. We bought the best of technology. We got the geologist. We increased production 10 times. 10 times we increased production, and reserve what they are showing only 5 years. With the 10 times production, today we have a reserve of 40 years.
So how did that happen?
That's what I'm saying. India is a sone ki chidiya.
So you believe that, because we are actually, I think students are very confused. We've all read in geography maps, we plotted where coal is there, where iron is there, but we are never sure if India is as rich in minerals as, say, Australia or some of the other parts of the world.
हम लोगों को गरीब रहने की आदत हो गई है. The kind of wealth we have, the geology, what we have, is better than North America and better than Australia.
Wow. So that's something I think people should think about. It's not
Yes.
just for Vedanta, it's for all of us. So a couple of years later, you met Sir Bill Gamel, who has something interesting to say. I want your reaction to that after we play this soundbite. So,
more than 3 years ago, Anil invited himself to have a cup of tea, and he came here and we sat in this room to talk about India and his prospects. I found him an amazingly interesting, charming, witty, fascinating man with tremendous aspiration and inspiration and a great ability to look into the future. And I found that absolutely fascinating. Anil's cup of tea turned into, actually, Bill, I'd be quite interested to see whether there was an opportunity to put our two companies together. The original deal was done on a handshake, and that's very rare in this modern world. And through all the trials and tribulations that we had, we both stuck to that handshake with huge determination to do what we thought was best for both sets of shareholders, where it was a win-win and truly based on trust and respect.
It's my burning desire to be oil and gas, and I could see that the cane energy, and I've gone to several banks and says, will you go and talk to Sir Bill Gamel for this company? And they says, company looks great. What a company. But when I tell them to go and talk, there's nobody there. They says, impossible. He will never sell. And I says, I'll try. So I've gone to Edinburgh. I said, I come for holiday, and then asked my secretary Fiona that Mr. Agarwal is in Edinburgh for holiday. Can he come and have a cup of tea with you? And he says, all right, let him come at 3 o'clock. I went there. He was there. His CFO, Jen Brown, was there. And I said, I'm a FTSE company here in London. You have a FTSE company here. How about putting these two companies together? And you run it and we run it. And He liked the idea. I said, let me go with him. And he find me very interesting. And then we had a second meeting. In couple of meetings, the price which I offer, the terms which I offer, I must tell you, the meal which I offer.
What did you offer? What was the secret meal that made you buy this company?
The warmth and the.
But do you remember the dishes?
It was pure Indian dish prepared by my wife.
Oh, really?
With a love and affection.
So that
And we sat down with him together, and I insisted him to eat by hand. And eaten by hand, and he says, "You're my friend." And that's how it worked.
So you think those things are still important, even at that level when you're dealing with billion-dollar deals?
See, basic fundamental is important. And then if you package it well, it's become smooth. First you do a lot of your homework, and then you definitely take a chance. You definitely take a chance. And we come from the background, which is very humble background, very simple background. We are not that overconfident. We have little less confidence, and I always find that work. That work, and you go, you talk your point, you work around. Sometimes when you are very genuine, and sometimes you really have a strong desire to do things also align. And nature also come with you. That also help. My father said that you see the complete blackboard, but you find one white and fan that white so hard that white, the entire blackboard will be turned into the white.
That's great. So do good and the universe will conspire, as they say. Well, it's time for us to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll have Mr. Agarwal tell us about his global aspirations, about global conquest, and something else which is very important, the importance of giving back to society. See you after the break. Welcome back. You are watching Leap of Faith with me, Chetan Bhagat, who is in conversation with Mr. Anil Agarwal of Vedanta Resources. With me, we have a wonderful bunch of business school students as well. So let me just continue with the conversation. So now something very interesting. Business and all is fine, but you also got married at 21. That's quite young. So how did that happen? And what was your wife's reaction? Because that must have been the struggle time for you. So how did it all happen?
I was in Bombay and I need somebody. So I was keen to get married.
That's very honest.
And my father and their family, they're very close. Then we were discussing and says, okay, she is 15 and a half, 16, doesn't matter if she agree. So I got a chance to talk to her after 1 or 2 days when the two families say yes. And I says, hope you are all right marrying me. She says, मेरे को क्या मालूम? पापा ने कहा कि बम्बई में शादी होगी तो मैं बहुत खुश हो गई. Without my wife, I would not have been here where I am. I remember in my difficult
Kiran
time.
is her name, right?
Kiran is her name. Trust me, in Bombay, I'll come back at 2 o'clock in the night. And I had that time 1-year-old my son, or 6 months old my son, and we were very small 370 square feet apartment. She'll not sleep even till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock till the time I come back. And every time we'll eat together, every night in the one thali, 2 of us. So that was the support I got. She's a very strong lady. And she worked all my crises. I would not have got through my crisis if she is not by the side of me.
That's, I think, really nice of you. Very, very few men will acknowledge that. In 2003, the very brave move, at that time it was not that common, to list the company on the London Stock Exchange, which was not very common, not many benchmarks for that. So I'm going to play a sound bite here, and after that, like your views on how did that decision come about?
Well, back in 2003, when all of this took place, the world was not really aware of the fact that India produced metals and minerals. They thought of India as a market that consumed minerals and metals, not as one that supplied. Anil, of course, had built up a marvelous business in a Sterlite empire, but he needed to raise capital for 2 large expansion projects. And so the idea was conceived that on the foundation of those Indian assets, we would raise money in the London market. And it was an enormously successful listing. I think we raised in the end $875 million. It was the 2nd largest IPO of the year and the first of an Indian company. And it established Vedanta among the large mining companies of the world.
As I said, the value was very, very important. My company in India, I was not getting the value, and it was moving around $150 million. And I says, look, I have a better value. I have to have a better multiple. I was not getting through, but I was not being taken seriously. So I tried to find out where I can go. And one thing is for sure, 2 things will keep you going. One is your dream, another is you're hungry. You have to be hungry and you have to keep dreaming. And I started dreaming about to be listed my company at London Stock Exchange. I've gone to London. I said, this is my company. It took me long time. It took me almost 6-7 months to put the board. If you look at the board, you name the person who was on my board. You know, BHP chairman, we all were the best of eminent people of the London was on the board. We floated the company and we listed our company for $2 billion, 10,000 crore.
So it's 8 times, 10 times the value of what it was in India.
Maybe more.
More, yeah.
20 times.
Wow. Wow. So now, something which is very special to me, you made this pledge. You made a pledge at your 10-year anniversary celebrations to give 75% of your wealth to charity. So that's again not something I've seen a lot. I have seen it sometime, but not to this degree or not to this extent in Indian entrepreneurs. So what made you do that? Because in India people say 7 janmo ke liye chhod kar jao, you know, 7 pushte khayengi. But for you to give away 75% of whatever you made, which you worked very hard to make, to just give it away for philanthropy.
No Indian business people and inventor has been recognized. Either the politician, all the saints, all the scientists has been. But I look at the abroad and you see the 5 people built America. You know, Wendell Waite, Rockefeller, Carnegie Mellon, Ford. These people, and they says they are the people in their lifetime. They have given back everything what they have, created a foundation. That's what you learn when you meet the Dalai Lama. And I said, I want to learn the meditation. And he says, no. Meditation is not for you. He says, I must carry something. I've come to you. And he says, important thing is your body, look after your health. He says, the family, without attachment. Look after your family. You know, they come with their own karma. So you can do that much. 3, your profession. He says, I want to be the best monk in this world. And you should find out what you are good at and be the best. Keep finding out, and that's how we should look at. And 4th, he says, if you keep anything beyond your need, you're a thief. And that hurt me. That's how I decided that most of the wealth must go back to the society. In any case, we got a fantastic salary. 25% will be great to have in the family. My children can build on that. And I tell them, I could convince them, if you have 100 today, if you work hard, we'll remain 100 because we'll work 5 times more harder. So it's better to give. It's better to give. And that's what, in any case, is not yours. It's better to do it voluntarily than that nature takes away from you.
But tell me, you on one hand you say you must have hunger, you must have dream. On the other hand, you are also, there's a bit of detachment to your wealth. So the hunger and dream is for wealth, or hunger and dream is for what now for you?
No, hunger to see it can be, see, as you said, the hunger and dream for your body, for your health, for your family, for your profession. And your profession is, my profession today is to develop my natural resource for my country.
Okay.
In the world, if you look at to eradicate poverty and create the job, if you look at whether the North America or Central America or Middle East or Australia or any part of the world, they have only got through their natural resource. It's a Mother Earth in a most sustainable manner. You have to take out it's not right to have a $600 billion import bill in India.
Okay.
It's not right that we remain poor forever. We have to eradicate our poverty, and for that I've taken this natural resource is one thing. We have best of hydrocarbon in the country. We have gold, we have iron ore, we have fertilizer. All this we have in our country, and it should be shame if we import this. We have to, and the maximum employment comes from this sector. So this is again, as you said, this is what I'm looking as my profession, to create this, and I invite more and more people to be in this business. More and more, I'm not afraid of the competition.
I was a mining analyst in my previous life. Before I was a writer, I was a mining analyst, and I've seen it. There is no mining company in the world without controversy. It's just not possible. We were discussing earlier as well. And at the same time, Vedanta does a lot of community development initiatives. In general, for mining to thrive, because you want that very much, how do we deal with those controversies? How does a common person understand? Is mining good? Is it bad? How do you put this in perspective? What is your point of view on it?
Most natural resource on this earth is a human resource. And then it comes to, because when the human resource need all the natural resource. And this natural resource we need, and is most sustainable manner all over the world. Today technology is tremendous. There is no question today to doing the wrong way. You have to do it right way. If you do it right way, it's a win-win. If you see the best company in the world is Exxon, the best company in the world is a BHP, best company in the world is a Rio, best company in the world is a Barrick Gold. So these companies are there, and they have been. Best company in India is a Tata Steel. Best company in India is a Hindalco. Best company in the country is a Hindustan Steel. These are the companies which exist, and because of they exist, we exist. But we cannot afford to have hardened our money to send it and get that stuff imported. People don't want, I must say, people don't want this country to eradicate their poverty.
Okay.
It is my responsibility. I take one of me. When you say giving back, if my money can be catalyst to open up this, my money, what will be my money? Whatever you call it, is a very small money compared to what government India has, or the world has, or the people have. It's a trend setter. So more and more people come. जो दे दिया वो अपना है, जो रह गया वो सपना है.
It's a good thing you didn't become a writer, because then I would have had a lot of competition. One of the companies you mentioned was Tata Steel, and we have a soundbite from your good friend Mr. Ratan Tata.
I've not known Mr. Anil Agarwal for very long, nor could I say that I've had an opportunity or the pleasure of knowing him very well.
but he's a person that has impressed me enormously. I've come to respect him because of what he has achieved in life himself, and his sensitivity in wanting to share his prosperity with the people from and the area from which he had his initial roots. You don't find many people today that have that kind of sensitivity, and you don't find that many people who don't crow that much about what they're doing. He does it in a very quiet way.
This is one of my hero. When we came to Bombay, I used to think how I'll read. I'll not understand English, but I'll read who can be my hero. And for me, the hero was at that time R.P. Goenka. My hero was Dhirubhai Ambani. My hero was Aditya Birla. My hero was J.R.D. Tata. Ratan Tata was just coming in. I'll find out where they go. And I remember they used to go to one of the health club. And somehow others, I'll get into the health club and want to understand what they're talking, how they're talking. So this is again, as you say, a dream and to remain hungry.
Very interesting tips, huh? How to get. Earlier this year, you hired the former Rio Tinto boss, Tom Albanese, as your CEO. So, what was how did that come about? What was the strategy behind that? He's of course got a lot of experience running one of the biggest mining companies in the world. Who has something interesting to say? I want your reaction to that after we play this soundbite. So.
Yes, I met Anil about 2 years ago, and when I was chief executive of Rio Tinto. And during the course of 2013, we just got to spend a lot of time getting to know each other, chatting, talking about a whole range of things. And I think we both got, we were able to read each other, but we also had shared clearly that passion for the future, clearly where our business is going, where those markers are, and here I am. Yeah, again, I think we both are looking out in the longer term. We recognize that businesses need to be running for the present, need to be safe, efficient, and need to be there in the market today, but they're there for the future. We both of us, I think, had the same vision. We need to build our teams, build the people for their future careers. We need to be building our plants, our operations for the future of those communities around them, because many of these plants will be there for 50, 100 years from now. And again, we have to always be thinking about what is that future market? Where will the Indian economy be 10, 20 years from now? What will happen when per capita GDP doubles in size? It means that there'll be 4 times as much resources, the things we produce, needed in India, even just in the next 10 years.
I'm in a natural resource business, and I met Tom, and I'm very persuasive. The one thing is never give up. I am very, very persuasive. When most of the people, they start saying no, and 60–70% of the time they turn into yes. So, I approach him and could say that how India is important and what I have built, and I take him around to my asset, and he understand. And now he lives in Delhi, and he's one of the CEO. He's most respected in the government, and in our company, he's given a tremendous energy, and he loves youngster, giving them a right direction. He walked through the floor and say, here there will be something. So this is what experience he has. He understands. So I'm very pleased that he has come in as a CEO, and he will run the show.
Has he given you more free time? Is that a little more?
Yeah, that's how I'm thinking of a more philanthropy.
Okay.
We have decided that on the strategy, we'll do strategy together. Okay. He'll run the day-to-day show, and M&A we'll do together. But rest of the business, he'll run it.
You've been receiving a lot of awards, lot of achievements, lots of trophies. How does that affect you? Does that, mean something to you?
This award and reward confirm and reconfirm to my people, energize my people, it's very important because we work with the international market and this indoors. But personally, it's very nice. But whether this gives me arrogance, I want to remain a simple man on the street, and that's how I look at it. But for sure, for my company, I'm very hungry for the awards.
Okay, that's nice. Well, I must say you are one of the simplest people I've met. It's time for us to take another break, but when we come back to the last segment, it will be really special because it won't be me, but the audience asking the questions. And we'll also have a special guest, an entrepreneur who has been inspired by Mr. Agarwal all the way. See you when we are back. Hi, welcome back, and now I'd also like to welcome to our show Mr. Vishal Gupta.
Thanks, Chetan.
Thanks for coming, Vishal. So, you have been somebody who almost sees Mr. Agarwal as a mentor, somebody who has inspired you all the way. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely, and in fact, it's a great honor being here and sitting next to him. Well, I've known him for a very long time, and just the kind of growth story, Patna boy making it so big is absolutely tremendous. It's something that you hear in the movies, but when you see it up close and personal, it's far too inspiring and something that you cannot ignore. One of the things that has really truly inspired me is the fact that he's always hungry for more. There's one goal, and once that goal is achieved, a next goal is set. And what is something which is fantastic is once he sets that goal, he talks about it publicly. He's almost committing to everybody around that this is what I'm going to do. He puts himself into an uncomfortable situation, where you can't just say that I've said it, and as he's growing it probably is still more uncomfortable to commit to so many people in public that I'm going to do this next, and not having to fail that is a huge, we're so scared to make a public commitment. I think that's been a huge learning for me, and while I've not done it publicly, but within the organization, all the senior team, all of us commit on a regular basis, whether it's a day thing or it's a week thing or it's a month thing, where we are putting ourselves into some kind of a commitment where we have to save some face as well. So so that's been a very interesting thing for me to see. And probably the second most inspiring thought process is his ability to give back to the society. I think being a responsible corporate, the amount of work Vedanta Foundation is doing on ground is absolutely, and I don't see them making a whole lot of noise about it. What's really nice is that it's not done to make noise that look, we are a responsible corporate and we are doing so much CSR, and it's being done out of genuine warmth and care, and I think that's very important. Where business is not done, it's done out of sheer passion, for the love of it, for the love of the nation. He's mentioned today that देश को आगे लेके जाने का है, that the fact that हमको गरीबी में रहने का जो आदत हो गया, we need to get out of that mode. Those are the things that really inspire me and touch me a lot, and I really wish to learn and be like him someday.
You think he's taken your lessons well?
Yeah, they are young people now. They are the people who are going to go forward.
Yeah. What is the one piece of advice you will give him?
Never lose the never give up spirit. That's just outstanding.
Okay. So it's now time to turn to the students. Have you been enjoying the show? Yes. So who would like to ask a question? All right. Just introduce yourself first and what do you do, and then ask the question.
I am Richa. I am pursuing for MBA. I am final year student, and there is a question that I want to ask, sir. Sir, as you said that human resource is the best resource, but there are still people, there are still human who lack resource, and they want to reach up to that level, but still they are lacking somewhere. What about them, and how can they reach up to that level?
Today's the human resource is very precious. He has born here to do something, and I'm sure he has to find what he is good at. He has to be hardworking. He has to be hungry. Whatever means, he has to dream with the compulsion, with the responsibility. He will find a resource.
Good morning, sir. My name is Rishi. I'm a first-year finance student from IMT Ghaziabad. So you just hired Tom Albanese as your CEO. I wanted to know why somebody from the outside rather than just promote somebody from the inside. You have people with 30 years of experience who know the company in out. Why?
Very good question. India, we don't have the technology. We don't have people who bring the expertise to make iron ore. We hardly make any iron ore. How to do the right decision, what technology to use. You are very fortunate that you can source somebody who has done it in a very large scale. So you bring him here, you have the same geology, and he will support you, he will give you the direction, he will create a team to bring to the same level. So it is very important for us to bring the best expert. Maybe next generation, when we have Vedanta, hundreds of people and some other people want to do the business, those people can help them.
Yes. Hello sir, my name is Rohit Thomas. Okay. I'm a first year marketing student at IMT Ghaziabad. So the question that I had for you is, you had mentioned that India is like it's a sone ki chidiya. So there's a lot of resources that are there in India itself. Now amidst the growing population and the greater emphasis that is laid on environment conservation, how do you look at Vedanta's capitalization of the natural resources going forward? Because population displacement and environment conservation are two major points on the current agenda.
Okay. No, what you say correct. We have to balance. But I can tell you, if you don't have energy security for your country, you cannot survive. We must have at least 50% of what energy we need. India import 90% of oil. We import 100% of gold. We import all the fertilizer. We import all the electronics. It is very important, and these being produced last hundreds of years all over the world. In today, the technology, like earlier when you used to do surgery, you have to cut your whole body and do all these things. Nowadays, there's a very, very microscopic way to do the surgery, and that's what technology has come. Today, environment get better. There is no question. Earlier, we could only assume that how environment impact. Today, we have very black and white. This is the environment impact assessment. This is what we can do. But it is very important that we have to take forward our country. In this process, it should not happen only the developed country who says, we are going to produce, you cannot produce. So we have to assess ourselves. We have to eradicate our poverty. We have to create our job. And for that, natural resource is very important to produce and to process and to bring in to our use.
I am a student of MBA Human Resource from Delhi School of Economics. So my question is that since you have been able to manage the workforce pretty well, and I'm sure there must have been certain challenges for you since there have been cross-cultural differences in the various companies that you acquire. So what were the challenges that you faced to manage the workforce, one? And second, what would you suggest to a budding HR manager, certain qualities that we should instill in ourselves to be able to manage the workforce pretty well in the near future?
HR is the foundation, and in olden time, it was IR, to deal with the union, to deal with the grievances, Today we have a responsibility, HR people have a responsibility, human resource development, and that's a beautiful resource. And to how do we encourage our people, how do we train them, how do we identify who are the leader? It's like a auditorium. Some people you need in auditorium, some people you need on the stage. And both you identify, and who identify? The HR people. And HR people have a responsibility. Why union is outdated? Because everybody today has a right to go up to the plant manager or to general manager to CEO. So these are the things which HR identify with the workshop. There are so many tools has come. Different Japanese tools has come. You have American tools. With that, you develop the workshop, and through that, if the right HR person is in the company, he will take forward the company.
Okay. Now I want to ask you guys a question. In fact, several of you. So, what is the one thing you've learned or will take away from listening to Mr. Agarwal today? Various people can say. So, anybody wants to say one thing?
The zeal of burning desire.
The zeal of burning desire.
The one takeaway I could get from here was you have to excel at your business, yet look at people around you and do good for the economy as well.
Okay, good.
Never give up, and secondly, always be connected to your root from where you belong to. That is what I really learned from him.
Okay.
Also that failures are stepping stones to success, and each failure is independent of the other one, so you never know when you're going to succeed.
So Mr. Agarwal, you have come here and inspired everybody in the audience, and I'm sure everybody is watching the show. You've already inspired him, you've inspired me. And we've come to the end of the show. This is Chetan Bhagat in conversation with Mr. Anil Agarwal, Chairman of Vedanta Resources PLC, and these lovely B School students. And here is a gentleman who is a perfect fit of leap of faith, because it's not one leap of faith you have taken. You are in the business of leap of faith. There are leaps of faith every day, and that is why your company has become a giant corporation, one of the biggest natural resource companies in the world. And we are really proud of you, and thank you for coming today and inspiring all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chetan. Thank you, all of you. Very nice. Do very well. Wish you all the best.